Yo, what's going
Yo,
on, folks? It's another
what up,
week,
man?
another episode of CC Smack Podcast. It's your guy, Josh.
Hey, it's your boy Toby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back on the air for another week. As always, thank you to everyone tuning in to our previous 204 episodes. For anyone that hasn't already subscribed to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our YouTube channel, CC Smack Podcast, please tune in to those three channels that we have for our podcast. YouTube has the visuals, and of course, the audio can be found on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as podbean.com. Another episode of CC Smack. What's happening, brother?
Yeah, I want to thank God for allowing us to be here. I'm still international, so I apologize in advance if there's any, if the audio isn't as crisp as you are used to hearing. But I come back next week, right? Come back next week. So if you're hearing this, please pray for me as I journey back to the States. I've been all right, man. Some things that I will miss. I get a haircut like once every week out here, right?
Ah,
I also get my manicure and pedicure, like everything looking like spectacular.
okay.
And I do that. I do that for less than $10. You feel me? So it's just one of those things you can't really beat.
Yeah, the grooming budget is very
Bruh.
economically friendly.
Yeah. So they make you feel like a king, right? And I
You
tell you
are a
one
king.
thing.
You does not feel like you are a king.
No, but let me tell you one thing, right? Like it's no feeling better than getting stopped by the cops and knowing why you're getting stopped by the cops. If I get stopped by the cops out here, it's either I did something wrong or I messed with the wrong people, right? I don't have to worry about my skin color, right? That's something that
Because y'all
I
all
didn't
the same,
understand
y'all
how.
all the same skin color.
Yeah. I didn't understand how therapeutic that would be, right?
Right.
Because when you're in the States and you get stopped by a white officer, I don't know about you, but your mind just goes back to traumatic experiences that Black people have had at the hands of white officers. And I'm not sitting here saying all officers are bad, but I'm just talking about the amount of just pure joy that I've gotten being in Nigeria and being a first rate citizen, right? I think there are definitely privileges that we enjoy in the United States. Don't get me wrong, right? But in terms of just being more worry free in terms of like racism and stuff, bruh, you got to come out here, man. Like you got your business going, you got your money going, bruh. Ain't nobody saying nothing to you out here, man. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, I love that for you, King. I love that for you. I'm gonna have to hit
Yeah.
my barb and see if I can get in for $10. Probably not, but it don't hurt to ask.
Hey,
I just,
bro, you probably can't even get your mustache trimmed for
I'm
ten
about to say I
dollars,
can
bro.
go for 10, right? You getting the whole shebang. So
Hey,
yeah, that's what's up.
yeah.
But besides that, man, how's everything been going for you in life? Good. Your mental, how's your mental health, brother?
Hey, being in Nigeria does something to your mental health because everything that's supposed to be working properly, it's always some story. I've had you on my close friends, so I've been showing you like some of the runarounds I've been doing, trying to collect some funds. It's an interesting thing, right? Because I'm a better businessman. I feel like because of what I've gone through out here, when I get to the States, bruh, business just knowing that it's more dependable.
Right.
I feel like I'm going to be a stronger businessman back in the States. I've been good though. I've been good mentally. I've been making sure that I've been doing my devotionals, reading on a daily basis. I've been finding some really nice cafes to work from home.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it's a lot of hidden gems in Abuja. That's where I'm at right now. So shout out to anybody who lives in Abuja. Shouts out to all the connects I've made. It's a lot of shakers and moves in Abuja. I'll tell you that much.
That's what's up. That's what's up, brother. Yeah, man, we're gonna be excited to have you back in the mainland. For
How you
myself,
been?
bro, yeah, I've been hanging in there, man. Just strategizing on my next steps. Project I've been working on, I was able to get in contact with a local official who can help much with that. So that's starting to pick up progress. As far as my health and everything. I was down in Charlotte this past weekend, so I was able to participate in a run with the Mad Miles Run Club. That was very exciting. It's a run club based in Charlotte. They run on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Definitely check them out. That was fun. Got to see my family, some friends. So the weekend was good overall. Just blessed, man. Just blessed to have another day to create things that I want to, build my life around and to live freely. So I'm just going to continue to do that and find ways to not only take care of myself, but help people around me. I think you got put up a post this past week, like, just expressing gratitude to how I'm inspirational to you. And I appreciated that, not like in a cocky way, because, I'm a chill guy and I'm not big on recognition, but it was just a reminder to myself that, okay, even if someone or people may not say stuff to you, you do have an impact on this world and a positive impact. So that just drives me to continue to do, use my God-given talents to really give out positive gems to the community and also just uplift people in general. Like, it's enough hate in the world. So to be able to uplift folks, that not only does good for them, but it also warms my heart as well.
Yeah, and to give some context on that, right? I made a post. Well, I was speaking. I had a virtual speaking engagement to some kids in Brooklyn, New York, and one of the questions I had to address was who has been one of my biggest supporters in business, right? And I just remember, I've told you, I remember when I said I was going to get my CFA, right? And you was like, "Yo, let's get it, dog. Let's do it." I remember when I told you, "Hey, I'm gonna give up on the CFA," and he was like, "Yo, let's get it, dog. Let's do it. Whatever you want to do." I remember when I told you, "Hey, I'm heading to Nigeria." He was like, "Yo, let me know how it's looking down there. I'm gonna be out there." And so many times people try to cast their fears on you, right? And I was just thinking about it, how you ask relevant questions, right? You will ask questions like, "Oh, what you trying to do? This and that, blah 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 blah." But you never tell me like, "Yo, that's kind of scary, dog. Like, that's kind of impossible to do." And I've gotten that from family members. I've gotten that from other friends. People casting doubt on some of the things that I want to do, and I really appreciate that because it helps knowing that somebody believes in some of the things that I say, right? And I mean that's something that's invaluable in our friendship. So yeah, definitely want to shout you out on that. Give you your roses while you're still here. It's something that I really appreciate, man.
For sure, man. That's what we're here for, man. It's brotherhood. We're here to uplift each other. And I know that was one of your goals. So it's definitely, across the boundaries for me to try to shoot something down. And to your point, it's the mindset that people have that they can't see the bigger picture of the goals that you have and why you're making certain moves. So like you said, when you tell certain people I'm going to Nigeria for X amount of time, I'm like, what is this guy thinking? Like, he's off his rocker? You know what I'm saying? You have everything you could want in America, and you have your vision. And like a good friend, I'm going to ask those questions in a form of due diligence.
Yeah.
It's not to deter you. It's more so checks and balance. Not check. Cross your teeth, dot your eyes, type of thing.
Yeah.
So and that's what I do. And I remember even when you were preparing to go and you were talking about, getting rid of the luxury whip and a couple other moves you were making, regarding your personal business. And I just talked you through everything in a way just to let you see the landscape of things, not to deter you, but just to give you, like the scenarios, okay, what if this occurs? How are you going to handle it? What if this occurs? How are you going to handle it? And I believe that everyone needs friends like that. You don't need yes men. You need people who are going to support you, but are also going to they're going to observe the landscape that you're going into and just give you the checks and the balances. That's what it's about, because yes man is going to allow you to drive off a cliff. The person who the person who has your best interest is going to make sure that your rope and harness is tied on tight so that you don't go free falling off the cliff. So that's where we stand. And anytime you got a question, you can hit my line. I'm gonna give it to you 100. I'm a straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we locked in. What they say, we locked in 4L. We locked in.
Hey.
The young kids, you got to put the 4L with the finger cross emoji. But nah, this real facts though. CC Smack is deep. We 205 episodes deep.
Yeah, man. Let's start the show. Before we start the show, man, where your chain at, bro? Like, you looking mad like pedestrian.
I'm looking dry. I know. I need to get icy. I'm looking dry. I don't got no watches on, no chains on. Hey. I'm looking dry over here.
You taking Jared Allen swag, yo. I wanted to touch on that because it was hilarious. So if you're not up to date, Jared Allen, he's a first-time All-Star. He's been doing this thing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's a young gun. I think is he under 25? I'm not sure, but he's pretty young.
Yeah.
Pretty young, and safe to say he's a millionaire.
Yeah, he got a 5-year, $100 million contract.
Yeah. So they caught a picture of him. This is All-Star weekend, and typically, I mean, most of these NBA players can't afford it, and I'm pretty sure he can afford to rock whatever he wants, but he chose to go in his most comfortable, regular outfit, and people was kind of clowning him, So let's get into that, man. Let's get into that. What are your thoughts on that?
For me, I can dig where Jared Allen's coming from, because growing up, you know what I'm saying, you can relate to this. We passed that phase of our lives. Not saying that we don't still rock designer, but we passed the mindset of, okay, I feel the need to wear that stuff to impress other people. We're comfortable in our own skin. And when you're comfortable in your own skin, you're a free thinker, you're an independent thinker, and you're going to do what you want to do. I guarantee you, 99.9% of people who talk down about his outfit aren't going to make $100 million pre-tax in the next 5 years. So Jared Allen going to be up.
Hey, I'm glad you kept it simple, right? Because this don't got to be a assets or reliabilities.
No, it's not even about that. It's more about it's the mindset.
And like you said, it's more so just being comfortable in your own skin, right? And the funniest thing about it is my man is so like chill and so lax. He responded to somebody who was roasting. He was like, "Yo, like, what you want me to rock a $5,000 chain?" And even him saying like rock a $5,000 chain is like comedy to me, because
that's life.
So comfortable. And you have people who don't even make 100K who are spending 10,000 on a chain. Like, you have people like that, So hearing them talk, I found comedy in that. It wasn't more so like, oh, he should be rocking something else. It's like he's so comfortable in his skin. He's just like, the money didn't change him, So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and one last thing about that is just a reminder, just in life in general, there are always going to be people who are going to have an opinion. People are going to talk because they want to talk. It's two things, right? Jared Allen couldn't win because guess what? If he, like his situation, he had no chains on, he had like a hoodie on. No, I think he might have a small logo on one side of the chest, but nothing with flamboyant branding. And people are gonna say, well, why you had a $5,000 chain on? Then if you go across the table, if you had a $5,000 chain on, $10,000, $20,000 chain on, $40,000, $50,000 AP, $8,000 Patek, whatever, then you got people say, well, he could have invested that money. So you gotta remember that in life. Do what you want to do, because people are always gonna have opinions on your life. And if you move with other people's opinion, that means you live for other people. You can't do that. Too many people are already doing that. And that's why the world's gonna remain average. Because not enough independent thinkers out here. Like with me, I be chilling, I be wearing my athletic leisure stuff out here. I be comfortable. I don't need, I know I could put on some designer, but I don't feel obligated to do that for the sake of attracting a certain crowd.
Facts.
What a fun flex. Boom.
Yo, can we take a pause real quick?
We got it.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting post I saw about Jared Allen. But moving off of that, I want to read an article that I saw, right? And the title of the article, it says, "Meet a millennial who's turning 40, starting yet another new career and has 47,000 in debt." So the reason why I want to read this is because it's a little bit of tough love, right? I think this is a gentleman who's turning 40, and yeah, there's some misfortunes, but I want to read his story, and I want to highlight some areas where he could have made better decisions, right? So it's on fortune.com. That's where this article is at. So it says, meet a millennial who is turning 40, starting yet another new career and has 47,000 in debt. And he says, "I've worked very hard and it didn't pay off. It feels unfair." The first thing about this, it feels unfair. That type of vocabulary needs to be removed from everybody's mind.
Life is not fair.
Facts. So it in quotations, it says, "I played the game and went to school and I did very well. Every job I've worked very hard and it didn't pay off. It feels very unfair." Newsflash, if you work very hard at every job that you've ever had, that don't mean you're gonna get ahead. You know, you are playing the game that they set up. You have to be your own entrepreneur, even if you have a 9 to 5. That means when you get your paycheck, that needs to be divvied up in a way that can allow you to grow your assets, to buy some assets, to have something to help you in the long run. So I'm just gonna pick some. I'm just gonna pick some parts of this article, right? Because it's really interesting. So he says he's a New York native who's living in Delaware. He might be a neighbor, yo. So he's living in Delaware. He's working as a hotel manager. He said he was working as a hotel manager when the pandemic shut down operations. It says the pandemic halted all the positive momentum I had built professionally in the 10 years prior. So another thing, yes, the pandemic affected people's lives. I'm not going to sit here and downplay that, but the pandemic gave a lot of opportunities if you're somebody who knows how to pivot, right? And he sounds like he doesn't really know how to pivot.
Right.
So when the pandemic hit him, it said he had to start living with his parents, living off savings and stimulus checks. He said he even got a real estate license.
Wait a second. He was living with his parents. Do you know how much savings that you can develop or create with that little overhead?
Bruh. So it says he even got a real estate license, but the leads were slow to materialize. And then it says finally in October 2021, he secured a job as an operations manager for a major retailer. So what this tells me is he's not a people person, because the housing market was booming. If you're a people person, you got your real estate license. During the pandemic, when he stopped working at the hotel, he should have been making some money. So he's not a people person. And then it says he finally secured a job as an operations manager for a major retailer. Newsflash, some of these major companies do not pay the best, right? So I'm gonna keep it real. I work for JP Morgan. JP Morgan didn't pay me like I thought they would pay me. A lot of these major companies, they are going to sell you the brand name. Like, oh yeah, you're working for a top company. Hey, that's just a newsflash. All right, so I want to keep going. So it says now Bryant, his name is Bryant, right? This is an article. It says he was a military veteran who has held jobs in several industries over the years. Now, I thank Bryant for his service, but I think he's young enough to have done some due diligence on some of the perks of being in the military, right? And trying to take advantage of those perks. I don't think he took advantage of those perks. The reason why I say that, it says, let me see. Yeah, so his debt consists of student loan debts. He says after graduating high school in 2000,
Student loan
he
debt is
went
low
to
interest, low interest.
yeah, but I think being in the military, I believe you
A
could
GI
find some
Bill, right?
options.
Yeah, GI Bill.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if he took advantage of all his options, right? So it said he graduated high school in 2000. He attended University of North Carolina at Greensboro, but he left school before graduating. He
Mm.
left school before graduating. He joined the military and he served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Thank you for your service, Brian. He says timing was against him. He came home from combat and the housing bubble happened. Right. So he came in, housing bubble happened. If he would have been saving up his money, he would have been able to make a killing, right? Because he says after he came home, the housing bubble happened. So it was a time where prices had decreased in terms of real estate. And if you hopped in at that time, right now you'd be sitting pretty, So what I'm aiming to do here, it's not like I'm saying he's not a decent person. It's just we have so many different opportunities in this lifetime, and we have to start doing a better job of taking better risks. I don't know what was going on in his life, but there are different opportunities that presented themselves to this gentleman where he could have taken some risks. All right, so he came home. He was an Army vet, and he started working at fast food spots. And then, or was it say, he actually chose to go back to school. Chose to go back to school. It says, what did he do? He went back to school for marketing in 2015. Now, he's an adult, so he's not some 18-year-old who doesn't understand that certain degrees will not get you as much money in a certain career path. So he chose to go back to school in 2015, and it took him 4 years to get his degree in marketing.
Mm.
And he says that kind of turned into a whole bunch more debt, he says. So he says, despite taking advantage of GI benefits, he still has nearly 42,000 in outstanding student loans. So my thing is, he graduated high school in 2000. So he was well over 30 when he went back to school for marketing. I think at that point, you got to tell yourself, like, yo, I need to hold myself responsible. I'm going back for this degree in marketing. You can make a career path in marketing, but you're also kind of the older guy coming in, right? Like most people who can really go crazy in marketing, if you're like the young guy who's coming in with the young, fresh ideas, you're competing with, that's who you're competing with, right? So he
Right.
went back to school. It took him 4 years. He said he went back in 2015, finished up in 2019. And look, I'm not saying you have to rush through school, but if you're over 30, you should have a better vision in terms of like, okay, hey, how can I complete this? And if you're taking that 4 years, you really should be debt free, because I don't know the specifics of it, but if you're taking that course, I'm sure some of his UNC Greensboro credits maybe transferred over, but I'm just spotting out situations or opportunities where he could have maybe cut down on his debt, maybe taking a little bit more risk. It goes on to say he also had about 3,000 in credit card debt. And I read this story and I felt sad because we have so many of our people that are sitting on potential, bro. Like if somebody would have told Bryant after he came home, like, yo, that little bit of money you had, yo, sacrifice, then move in with your parents, then, right? He
Right.
came home at the 2008 housing bubble. You're you're living with your parents now, and you're about to be 40. You could have been living with your parents, what, in 2008?
Right.
You was a younger cat. Yeah, it wasn't lit. Saving some bread, put some money into a house, and you'd be sitting pretty right now. And I bring this up because I do believe we are on the cusp of another recession. The reason why I say that is, look, prices have been going up for so long. Now you're starting to see things dip a little bit. And we got to understand, like, very few have talent that surpasses the need to train. I'm going to say that again. Very few have talent that surpasses the need to train. So You think about people like Allen Iverson, right? My man was like, yo, practice, what I need that for. You think about people like James Harden. James Harden, he heading out to go party or whatever. He gonna put up his little triple double and whatnot. Most of us start off as underdogs. And
Correct.
as underdogs, you got to perfect that craft. You got to perfect your craft and you got to rise to the top, right? And when things are low, that's an opportunity to rise. So right now, you have crypto that's not doing very well. You have stocks that's not doing very well. It's an opportunity for the underdog to rise, but it's difficult when the underdog is looking at prices go down and all you want to do is you want to eat right now. You're like, yo, I can't put my money in this because it's falling, it's this and that. And I'm like, how do you think the underdog comes to the top? You know, it's finding a crack, and we're starting to see some cracks. So I encourage people, still do your due diligence, but you got to understand that opportunity does not come knocking at your door with, you know, just a pleasant introduction. You know, opportunities are found, and you got to take risk with opportunities. And with every risk that you take, you want to make sure that you're leaving that risk having an experience and having learned something, right? If you take a risk on something, jot down the process. So these things are these things are cyclical, right? You're going to be up and you're going to be down at some point. And if you have so many ups, you can start to realize some patterns, right? So as you're taking notes, as you're realizing some of the patterns of, okay, this is a downtime, this is an uptime, what are some of the patterns? Now you know how to weather the storm. You know, every time you up, you're gonna be like my man Jared Allen, like, yo, just because I'm up don't mean I need to act like I ain't never had this before. Like, hey, I can
Yeah.
weather
I
this.
mean, and you got to remember that, also the times when you're up is not necessarily a time let off the gas. I mean, that's a time where you reassess where you're at and say, okay, now I got enough money for, my generation, next generation, maybe a few generations after that. But what people typically do is they sit there up and like a bad team, they blow the lead. They up, they blow the bag, and then you got to start over. And that's a mistake that so often people, advisors warn those who are new to money about. But it seems like in many cases, people don't value the money until they lose it. And then they got to run
Yeah,
it back.
so let's shift gears to how you remind yourself of the goal. You know, because like you said, people get the lead and they blow it. Like how can you stay more focused? How can you keep reminding yourself of the mission?
When I look at, my own experience and being able to pivot from corporate endeavors to, independent endeavors and going through the experience of, okay, at certain times not having a regular paycheck coming in, the way that I remind myself of the vision is by keeping myself immersed in the arena of where I'm trying to head to. See, what happens or what can happen for new entrepreneurs is that they get discouraged if they may have left their job too soon or their endeavor is not moving as quick as they, expected or anticipated. So when it happens, you have to, it's a mindset thing. Everything starts with the mind. You have to remind yourself of the reason why you take this leap of faith. And you also, I have a habit of looking back on my past and seeing the things that I've been able to accomplish. And it's like almost like a self pep talk. Like, all right, if I went through this and I made it out, I can make it through this newest endeavor. Or even if you want to take another route, you can look at, okay, where was I at a year ago? Where was I 2 years ago? And compared to where you at now and see the growth of how far you've came.
Yeah.
And then and that's like, all right, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. It's a little rough, but I made it through other challenges. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I approach it. And it's been good for me because, like I said, it also makes you appreciate the moment because no one said that the journey was going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody be doing it. It's the cliche, that's the cliche, motto. If it was easy, everybody be doing it. But it's only a select few who can go through the trials and tribulations and persevere and be successful. And that's what
Yeah,
we're
and I also remind people to think about what the downside of not staying focused on the mission is, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody has something that they fear, right? And I'm not saying you wake up in a cold sweat like, oh, I fear this, I fear that. But like for me, I fear going broke. I don't want to go broke. I got people to take care of. I got a future family to think about, right? So if I give up on my mission, if I decide, yo, this little bit of money that I made, I want to blow it, I want to do this, yeah, I'm gonna have a good night. I'm trying to have a good life. You feel me?
mm,
Like you got people are risking their future for one night, right? And it's a night that is going to um, quickly fade from your Instagram feed, right? You post that picture with your nice little chain. Guess what? Instagram not even going. The Instagram algorithm going to push that shit to the bottom in less than 24 hours. You're gonna stop getting likes in less than 24 hours, and it's gonna be on to the next thing. And now you spent your golden egg on an experience, and once you wear the outfit, once you wear the shoes, once you wear the chain, you put it on Instagram. Now it's like, what's next, brother? Like we already seen that before.
right. For perspective, when you put someone on your Instagram story, guess what? 24 hours later, gone.
Hey, gone. Yeah, and even if you post something, you post a picture, oh yeah, you're gonna get likes, but 24 hours, that algorithm pushing that shit right to the bottom. Ain't nobody gonna see that post.
Gone again.
Yeah.
Next. We just gotta keep our
Hey,
eyes
so
on the
we're
bigger picture.
talking. What's up?
I say you just gotta keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Yep.
Hey, hey, can't preach that enough. Now, like you said, if everything was easy, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Um, but these ventures, these goals, they're difficult, and a lot of times you have people that are depending on you. A lot of times you're multitasking. How do you manage to operate under pressure so well?
Operating under pressure takes a unique feeling in the body. It takes experience. You aren't going to develop this off of your first time. Most people first time under pressure, it's a shit show. But it comes
Mm-hmm.
with experience, and it also comes with is going back to mind. I mean, everything is based on the mind. It's going back to the mind. You almost have to ignore the conditions that you're in. If that makes sense. I don't know if you ever seen that meme where like it's that I think it's like a cat type character. He's sitting in the room in a chair, like, and there's a fire around him. Like you literally have to mentally remove the conditions, the real life conditions from around you.
Yeah.
And by doing that, and you don't do that not to remove the urgency, but you do that to dissipate the fear that may naturally kick in because humans naturally have fight or flight. So you put in you flight, then hey. But
Yeah.
you already lost. You already lost. But if you fight, now you in the trenches. You in the trenches. You're over East Baltimore. You're in a tight situation. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got your strap on you, and the block is
Hey
hot.
yo,
The block is hot.
this nigga.
So going back to what you were saying about how do I operate under pressure, it comes with experience. Like it's really something that can't be taught. You just gotta you gotta have it in you. It's gotta be. What they say, it ain't on you. It's gotta be in you. You know what I'm saying? Like it literally has to be in you. But it
Hey.
also comes with experience through
Uh-huh.
high ramification situations. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be difficult situations, but the ramifications is sometimes what causes the pressure on your mind and your body.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned it's something that's just in you. I also think you can train yourself, because working under pressure, I think a mentality that you need to have is that it's never as bad as it seems and it's never as good as it seems, right? Because I think sometimes when you're working under pressure, you start to think about the ramifications of things, right? You mentioned ramifications. And I know for me, I remember I lost $3,000 and I was like, yo, I can't do this no more. Guess what? Next year, I think I lost like maybe like another 5 grand, something like that, right? It's never as bad as it seems. And there have been times where I've made a cool 600 in a day. And I'm like, yo, this is the greatest thing ever. And then the next year, guess what? I made about 3 stacks. And it's like, yo, it's never as good as it seems, right? So just understanding that and understanding that I have the talent to survive. Like whatever comes my way, I'm gonna be good, right? Whatever L comes my way, I'm gonna be good. Whatever dub comes my way, I'm gonna be good. Like everything it's going to be all right as long as I do my due diligence, as long as I'm making sound decisions and I'm not being clouded by whether it's alcohol or bad friends or whatever it is. So for me, you can learn how to better operate under pressure. Just understand, like, look, it ain't as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I would say tough times don't last long, but tough people do. So you gotta know
Yeah,
storm you're going through that it's temporary, but they also counting on you to get through it.
yeah. All right, now I need you to go through this because I'm not in the States right now, and I saw some things about Biden and some crack pipes. So
Yeah,
what's going on there?
it looks like this administration is looking to open up centers for drug addicts to come and get their fixed in a controlled environment. And it's just another, it just puts more focus onto the budget, and I think what 30 million, I believe. I can't remember the number specifically, but I look at it as, why aren't these people being put in an environment where they can recover and then maybe given education to go get a job? Why are we enabling their vices? You have
So
that space for withdrawal, clean them up. Because I know people personally who are recovered drug addicts, and like people close to my family, like people I can call, and go do your withdrawals. Go to your intervention and all that stuff, and clean yourself up, and you learn some skills. But to be using my taxpayer money on this, hell no, I don't like it.
I mean, I've seen The Wire. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. I forget the character's name. I think it was like Bunky or something like that. Uh, so I know it's not easy. So I did look into this. And apparently they're trying to stop the needle usage, right? So instead of the needle, they're gonna give you a crack pipe. And I mean, look, I also found that not all 30 million or whatever is allotted is supposed to go to crack pipes. There's more that's inside that thing. But I just know being in Nigeria and not seeing the news, it's been so therapeutic, man. Like I remember reading this and it shocked me, right? Because I'm in Nigeria and I don't hear some of the stuff going on in the States. And if I was in the States and I saw this, I probably wouldn't even be surprised because like nothing really surprises me about stuff that goes on in the States and some of the news that pops out. But it's really been therapeutic. I've been getting away from the news. I wanted you to touch on this because I do think there is some misinformation around it. I think that yes, there is the crack pipe piece, but there is more that's loaded into this thing. And sometimes, even though Joe Biden he's underwhelming. I'll say that in terms
Very.
of his
His,
leadership.
his approval
Yeah,
rating has been tanking more than the stock market. And the stock market is not
yeah,
technically
yeah.
tanking, but it's definitely declining at a very fast rate.
Yeah, but I also think you can weaponize certain keywords. Why the administration chose to put crack pipes in their, in their press release, I don't know. But it is a way that you could weaponize certain things, and they should have worded it better. But at the end of the day, it's a difficult thing going through withdrawals and all that stuff. I mean, I just watched the movies and it looks like a difficult thing.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, hey, pray for all the drug addicts. If you want to get high off something, Corporate Coke and Smack is here. Get high off of Corporate Coke and Smack. It's mad financial knowledge, mad business knowledge, and we give you just relatable content. We give you stuff that you can share with your moms, you can share with your pops, you can share with some of your teenagers. We're not gonna say all the kids. Some of your teenagers, because we do be sometimes wilding on here.
I mean, that's a good point you make. Teenagers can tune in. I mean, I'm pretty sure they hear some of these words in the schools anyway.
Oh yeah.
But it also gives them some knowledge and information to give themselves a head start, where they could be more cognizant of, okay, what comes with student loans, the risk reward for going to college, the opportunity cost for going to college or not going to college. And as the world evolves and generation after generation, the next generations are supposed to have a better head start. That's just how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
Corporate Code with Smack is one of many avenues and channels that can give you that information to give your children a head start in life. Whether, like I said, going to starting their portfolio, investing in stocks, real estate, crypto, the entrepreneur journey, you can do all of that. But it takes proper preparation and planning. You can't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm gonna roll over and hop out and have this booming business. No, every business takes proper planning, to have a budget set out, all of that stuff.
Facts. Hey, so as you're listening to this, the Down to 2 project is gonna be out. You buying the stems? You got that 200?
For the Down to 2 project, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes about it. I know Kanye, he's very creative. I know he's going to do a lot of things. I'm hearing about it. I don't really keep up with all the gossip and the celebrity news, but I hear like he's going through some stuff with Kim. I think he got divorced, and then like at some point she not allowing him to see the kids, things like that. But the one thing about Kanye is that, and it's something you can learn from, is that he doesn't let personal things stop him from his gifts and his creativity, his business. That's one thing that I can definitely say I salute.
Yeah, I share your sentiments in terms of I'm excited for the $200 stem idea. Now, one thing with Kanye is I think when there's turmoil around him, he does find a way to profit off of it, right? And it's a good and a bad thing, because here you have somebody who's telling you like, oh, hey, she's doing this, she's doing that, but there's an album coming, there's a clothing release coming, there's a sneaker release coming. He don't play around with some of the press that he gets. Now, I do believe he is a genius, but he throws so much at the wall. Like this is somebody who he puts his family out there, right? Like he'll show you text messages from his ex-wife or something like that. And I feel like that's out of bounds, because at the end of the day, once you take family into the court of public opinion, it's not a good look. But I'm excited because what he's doing with the $200 stem player, it's taking control back from some of these labels, taking control back from some of the Spotify's and the Apples and all that. It's taking control and it's putting more control into the artist's hands. Now, of course, this hasn't been a mainstream thing. And the reason why it's not a mainstream thing is because you're probably going to suffer in the short term, right? You need that one person who's going to say, I'm going to sacrifice some of the popularity of this body of work to show you a method that could profit the artist. So I hope it's all well with him. I do not have 200 for the Don the 2 project. It's just one of those things where I'm not that invested in the music. Um, and I also think it's going to be something that sells out and it's going to sell for resale for like double. And I'm not about to stand in line for the $200 stems or whatever. I don't even think there's a $200 stem shop in Nigeria for me to stand in line. So I will not be purchasing, but I am happy to see it because it's something that gives us more control of our artistic process.
Yeah, and that's a great point you make, that Kanye is looking out for the artists, because we know traditionally the labels, they just take so much advantage of artists through, contracts. They make them sign early on in their career, and they have a lot of details in them that artists, they're just ignorant to the language in these contracts. Unfortunately, they don't have the proper advisors around them early in their career. And when it happens, you sign away, rights to your music. You sign, you sign to get, 20 cents off every dollar for, your streams. And it is unfortunate that the labels, prey on young artists. But at the same time, we're adults, so you got to take responsibility and got to wisen up and know, what your worth is. It's kind of like when you're negotiating with these corporations, know your worth. It's the same concept.
Yeah, and I will say, music deals have the potential to be good, right? I'm not saying like, hey, everyone needs to be independent. Like, I want to point out CMG. I want to point out CMG, Yo Gotti's label, for two things. The rebrand. People say CMG, but CMG was Cocaine Music Group, right?
Correct.
And people don't even say Cocaine Music. They're just CMG, CMG, CMG. It's one of the hottest labels out here. And then it's a Black-owned label. I think it's under Rockefeller, I believe, because I know he signed a deal with Jay.
With Jay,
but
correct.
but at the end of the day, it's almost Black leadership where there are Black entrepreneurs, Black artists is a beautiful thing. It's just like the NFL, how we don't have an NFL team that's owned by a Black man, right?
Correct.
Having a Black man own a team that is comprised of mostly Black individuals is going to be a game changer. Some of the negotiations are going to be a lot different once that happens. I hope I'm alive to see that happen, but that's something that needs to be tackled. So with Kanye doing what he's doing, let's not get it twisted. Kanye is looking out for himself, but he identifies as an artist. So he ultimately is looking out for the artist. I think Kanye is about his money. And look, while Kanye is a genius, Kanye is definitely selfish. Like he's looking out for himself, but he's doing something that can be followed by other artists. He's
Right.
not just doing something.
The process, correct, can be, replicated, and others can see the power that they truly have and ownership of that music.
Yeah, man. So shout out to Kanye. I will be finding a way to stream Donda 2. I'll let you guys know. I love Donda, the first one. Incredible project. I don't like all the extra stuff that's going on right now, like the family stuff. He's putting out all the
right. It's
dirty
taken away from the focus
that.
of the music. Correct.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who has put out multiple albums that have been great. So hey, I'm gonna just trust this process, man. Yo, have you started on your taxes?
No, I haven't. I have been compiling my paperwork to send to a CPA, but I haven't filed.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
No, I haven't. Is there? I'm in Nigeria, so I can't really start anything. Once I get back home, I'm gonna get started on some things. But I was just wondering, is there anything that you're wary of in this tax season?
Anything I worry about? Not really. I know I don't think there's been many changes in terms of like my personal situation from last year in terms of like any new tax laws that would affect me. Um, but I know like around this time, they always talk about, IRS scams, if you owe money, things like that. And people calling your phone, saying, hey, you need to pay this and that. And it's just something that, not only be cognizant about for yourself, but older family members, because sometimes they can be more gullible, unfortunately. And you have to look at it as, protecting your family, not just your immediate family, but, other generations. So just know, like, if someone knows the IRS is not, they're not, for one, they're not, definitely not going to text you. They're not texting you. And if you need
Yeah.
clarification, you need to call the IRS hotline, and you just have to sit on there and endure the wait time. But it's definitely much safer than giving your information out to someone who may be posing as an IRS official. And plus, the IRS supposedly, are they still understaffed? Last time I checked, they were still understaffed. So just be cognizant of that, as IRS, scams, hey, I think the popular one is we can cut your bill in half, or cut, they can reduce about whatever percentage or dollar amount. My dog, there's a whole process for that. IRS, they make you go through a process that you have to show that you aren't able to pay your tax bill, and then they may be able to work with you to cut it down. But it's not a simple process at all. So just don't fall for those type of things.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and tell you guys what the failure to pay penalty is on your taxes, right? So I'm looking at the IRS website. It says if you file a return but don't pay all tax owed on time, you generally have to pay a late payment penalty. The failure to pay penalty is 0.5% of 1% for each month. So when you're looking for a way out, right? People calling your phone, hey, you might owe this, let's do this. Just think about it. You're paying 0.5% for each month, up to a maximum of 25%. So that's if you go out 50 months, right? Because it's 0.5% a month, right? So if you are looking at a late payment and your interest rate is not crazy, you shouldn't be looking for no, you know, crazy methods of trying to cut your tax bill. That's probably most likely an IRS scam.
Right.
I think we need to do a better job of understanding our debt, because sometimes people get into holes trying to pay debt that's in the single digits. Like I'm not saying paying interest is great, but if you are trying to scam your way out of a debt that is single digit interest rate, fam, there's ways you could refinance that. There's ways that you could have an investment that's paying you a higher interest rate than that, and then offset the interest. So you're making more interest than you're paying out. Like, we have to do a better job of understanding our debt.
Yeah, that too. Like you said, it's something that you don't want to run from. Like I know it's maybe something that's tough to analyze in terms of, you don't want to face that you're in this debt, but that's the easiest way to stay in debt. The easiest way to get out of debt is to create a plan, a monthly plan, and slowly pay it down and pay it off. So often we run from, these financial troubles in life. And I'm not saying it's something easy to endure, not at all. But at the end of the day, running from something is not going to help to resolve it.
Yeah. And speaking of running from stuff, hey, what we gonna do when Putin come by, yo?
When Putin come by, I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm rocking with y'all.
Yo, he gonna switch sides.
I'm rocking with y'all, yo.
Hey, yo.
Dude, I'm rocking with y'all.
Man. Hey, well, if you've been living under a rock, Russia's out here making noise. I mean, so I think they're trying to separate Ukraine, and the U.S. and some of the U.S. allies and allies of Ukraine are like, nah, they don't want that. So um, Russia's out here, like they got bodies, they got weapons. They've been out here stashing. Putin ain't playing with us. So we'll see how things play out. I don't want to go to war because this ain't gonna be like previous wars, right? I think everything
This
is
is a
up for.
nuclear power we're talking about.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything is up for grabs, right? Even and we look. There's so many Russian hackers in the United States, right? People talk about TikTok and it being a Chinese. Like, there's so much Russian hackers, so much Russian hackers, so many Russian hackers in the U.S. where, bank accounts can be dwindled. I mean, there's a lot. There's a
It's
lot.
gonna be a
You know,
cyber
so
war.
hey, we don't we don't want that smoke. And I'm not saying
That's the
America.
next big thing is a cyber war.
I'm not saying America's not equipped. What I'm saying is there will be plenty of casualties, right? And it's not going to be death. It's going to be people's identities going to be stolen. People
Yeah.
going to be bankrupt. Like, it's going to be a lot of stuff, So hopefully they work it out. The markets are jittery.
Facts.
I yeah, yeah. It's My advice would be don't make any drastic changes right now. Right now would be a great time to just look at your strategy. You should have reviewed your strategy at the end of 2021. So you set a new strategy for 2022. Stick to your strategy,
Right.
right? If you had a strategy that said, you wanted to buy more stocks, buy more stocks. If you wanted to buy more crypto, buy more crypto. You know, do not do not stray from your strategy in February of 2022.
Yeah, I would say definitely stay in tune to what's going on with the war because it does affect the not only the global economy, but it affects American economy as well because they're involved and speculation of coming to a head in terms of clashing like two rams. But it's something that you want to be in the know about because it may affect the supply chain even more now, where the price of things may go up even more. Because what happens is if they do turn to this being missiles launched and things like that, you're gonna see a slowdown in just ship trade, cargo trade through the world. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And that's something that you had to be cognizant about because there's a ton of exports and imports here, not only for America, but for many countries in the world. I mean, this is how countries do they trade. And with America being involved in a possible war, I mean, dude, you may see, like you said, with the hackers being on the inside, being in domestic, man, they could mess up trucking routes. You know what I'm saying? They could mess up the airlines and you know, cause some inconveniences with those. So that is nothing's off the table. Nothing's off the table when you're at war, and people have
Hey,
to
look,
understand that.
I want to go off on a tangent here. You mentioned like two rams colliding. Pause. I'm gonna say pause. Yo, you ever had ram meat? Like, I,
Nah,
I ate some. I ate some. Hey, I said pause, but like, I had some ram meat out here. Yo, best meat ever, yo. Best
that's
meat
the
ever.
that's the breakfast of Super Bowl champions, ram meat.
Hey, 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 best meat ever. But yo, on that note, because I know niggas gonna flame me talking about ram meat. Hey, come on, man, get yourselves together. But on that note, I think we should go ahead and end the episode. We've given everybody quite a few things to ponder on. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you go check out ccsmackpodcast.com. That's where you can find the latest episode as well as our merch. Shout out to everybody who's been copping our merch. Shout out to my guy Antonio. We just sent some merch out. It was part of a giveaway. But yeah, check out www.ccsmackpodcast.com. And then if you want to follow us, Instagram, Twitter, that's CC Smack Podcast on all our socials. And if you want to follow me, if you want to chat, set something interesting, you want to follow up on that, you can go check out www.ccsmackpodcast.com. btoconsult.com, or you can hit me up direct. I'm still sending you that link. You can hit me up direct at Long Live TOBE.
Word up. Now you can find me at Josh D Lifestyle on Twitter and Instagram. Just trying to drop knowledge every day, personal development, financial, just keep people in the know about what's going on in the economy, domestically, internationally. And also just looking to connect with more people, network, because that's what we're here for as humans, to connect. That's why we're given ears, eyes, and mouth. So let's connect, let's communicate, let's build, let's continue to build towards prosperity.
And you said all you giving is ears, eyes, and mouth?
Said we were
What you
given
say?
we were given eyes, ears, and our mouth
Hey,
to communicate. All right,
hey,
Mr.
you a
Ram. All
wild
right,
boy,
Mr.
man.
Rammy. You go.
Hey, I said pause. You out here talking about, yo, we giving mouth. But hey, man, this has been episode 205 of CC Smack.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate y'all, and we're going to holler at y'all next week.
Yes, sir. We out. Peace.
Peace.